So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to look at Sephiroth's kit. We're going to look at the stamp card afterwards. Let's look at Sephiroth's kit. Sephiroth original. Here we go. Whoa. That's it? He has 3 weapons? And 2 of them, he's got 5 total and 2 of them are in the banner. Okay, well, let's not judge a book by its cover. Let's go through the 3 weapons. That Sephiroth has available. First is the Kotetsu. It's a 540% non-elemental attack to all enemies, physical attack decrease, magic attack decrease. Again, this is fine when you need it. It's whatever when you don't. It's nice to have the option here, and having an AOE debuff attack is still good. Our abilities are fine. Mixed ability potency is good because this lets you bring it on physical or magic builds when you need that debuff, and HP is fine. So for a featured weapon, it's fine, right? Not a big deal. It's fine. Osafune. Or Osafune, maybe. It's probably Osafune, eh? We'll say Osafune. Deal 1,340% magic water damage. Holy shit. Okay. Oh, sorry. So that's 200% more than what we're used to. The highest in the game right now is 1128% for elemental damage, which is obviously very high. This is 200% higher than that. And it also has a magic attack all allies effect for your entire team. So that's pretty good for a featured weapon. So that's really strong. Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane featured weapon. That's insanely strong. And the best part of it is that it has neutral R abilities, which lets you just use this as a magic attack buffing weapon if you don't want to use it for water. It does lower the ceiling for like the water damage builds, which is, you know, you take it or leave it, right? I guess that's the downside of this, but it's a great weapon. 717 magic attack is really high. Obviously 1340 magic water damage is insanely high. That's, yeah, really good. Really good. Masamune, get Telluric Fury for 4. 800% physical non-elemental damage to a single target. Also deals 60,000 additional non-elemental physical potency damage. Okay, so it is a single target fixed damage weapon. That's interesting. Physical defense is decreased high, and magic defense is decreased high. Wow, that's really good. Wow, that's really good. Okay, so, oh, interesting. It doesn't, oh my goodness, they did not do that. It's just a flat damage weapon at OB6. If you get it to OB10, that's when it gets the defense downs. Yikes. I'm not a fan of that. When it gets to OB10, it's great. Before it gets to OB10, it's not very good. It's not very good. Yeah, at least it's a featured weapon, right? At least it's a featured weapon, but that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. It's really good at OB10. Like, it's really good at OB10. But like before OB10, it is borderline useless. Borderline useless, which is a bummer. But the good news is it does have mixed R ability, so you're able to use this on either of his on any of his builds as just a damage weapon. So that's at least a solid. I wish that the physical and magic attack were a little closer if they were going to put mixed R abilities on here, but other than that, again, at OB10, it's great. Before OB10, not very good. And obviously the other 2 weapons are featured, so we'll check that once we actually get into the banner here. All right, so first thing we always do is we check out the aesthetics. And I don't know if folks know this, but I like Final Fantasy VII, so I like Advent Children, and I love this outfit. I think the outfit's dope. I've always liked this outfit. I've always liked the sword, the fusion. I think it's called the fusion sword. I've always been a big fan of this setup. I think it looks cool. I'm excited. Nothing more to really say. I think for most folks, if you've watched Advent Children, you've seen this before. But yeah, this is dope. This is dope. I'm a big fan of this one. Big fan. And we're gonna be doing polls tonight. You know, spoiler alert, but I'm gonna be getting this outfit for sure. Regardless of what it does, I'm getting this outfit for sure. It is cool. It looks great in Ever Crisis too. They did a great job with this. They did. Oh yeah, we're doing polls for sure. All right, let's check out the fusion sword. So the fusion sword at OB0, 600% not, wow, that's gonna be high too. Also, physical weapon boost C, UC ability damage plus 25%. So that's the new weapon boost ability that gives, so it makes it so that he does additional damage. Interesting. And it has exploit weakness. Holy God, this has so much on it. This is essentially Tifa's Daffodil gloves on steroids, right? This is Tifa's Daffodil gloves on steroids, because if this goes to 40%, which I'm anticipating that it does for a limited weapon, right? Then that's going to be very, very hard to beat. So OB6, it goes to 1080, 35% extra damage or magic weapon boost. I think this just does, is this the additional one, or is this just physical weapons do 35% more damage? We'll have to actually see how this goes. I didn't read that very well. So I think it just gives you 35% more damage on physical weapons. I think that's what it does. And then the other one, the other R ability that Sephiroth has, or the other ability that Sephiroth gets is the bleed kind of effect, whatever it is, the additional damage. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see, because I'm gonna have this, so we'll figure it out. Exploit weakness goes to 35% at OB6, which means 40% at OB10. That makes sense. This goes up to 40% as well, 40% at OB10. This is a really good physical damage weapon for non-elemental. Obviously I assume crit rate 10%. Yep, okay, so crit rate 10% is the same. I think this is better than, let me double check. I think this is better than Lock Sword now. Yes, no, it's not. At least for a per ATB, the Lock Sword at OB10 does 336 per ATB. This one does 335. So it's still good. It's really good. It's only 1 point off, so it's not a big deal. And obviously this thing has way better effects than Lock Sword does, like way better effects. So I'm not trying to say the Lock Sword is better than this at all. But if you were thinking that this was going to be your new like premier non-elemental weapon, and you already have Lock Sword at a decent overboost, it probably won't be. But it's still pretty good. It's really good. Mixed R abilities is great. This is excellent for Cloud, because not only does this give him exploit weakness, it's giving him, because I assume we're going to get this at probably, for me in particular, this is probably only going to be an OB1 weapon for me. Because I'm going to save resources, because we don't know what the other three or the other banner is going to be in terms of like what the outfits are going to do, what the weapons are going to do. And so I want to hang tight before I blow all my load on one banner. But even at OB1, but yeah, so in terms of the Cloud Fusion Sword, I did go over this briefly, but just as a recap, it's a very good offhand weapon for Cloud, and this actually increases his damage by quite a bit. Like it's a pretty decent increase. Even at OB0 and OB1, it's a 25% increase to his ability damage. That's a huge buff for Cloud, a huge buff. So this is probably going to be Cloud's offhand weapon for a long time, if I'm being honest. But it's definitely very, very good. But yeah, no, this is great. This is a great sword. It's a great weapon. Obviously, getting it to OB6 is probably where you want it to be, because 35% is definitely good enough. OB10, only going up the extra 5%. Obviously, 5% is 5%. I'm not going to tell you it's bad, but like 5% is only 5%, right? I think that the 10% increase to 35% and the 50-second duration on all of this is perfectly fine, right? Perfectly fine. I think this is a great weapon, though. Definitely good for Cloud. It's always going to come down to the outfit when it comes to the banners, though, and the outfit is Reprieve. Okay, so Reprieve is very good, obviously. Obviously, we don't know what Reprieve is. Reprieve is if you get knocked out for the first time in a fight, you immediately come back to life, get a certain percentage of the health. Great, right? Great. And then Cloudy Wolf is 15% HP and Omni Arcanum. Okay, great. Yeah, this is good. This is essentially the same thing as Tifa's Daffodil outfit, right? The only difference is that this also has 15% HP. Kidding. So, but yeah, so this is great. This is great. Obviously, in terms of like just pure power, 30% is 30%. Obviously, we've seen Arcanums come through that have 50% damage total now. So 30% isn't the best in the world, but this covers all of Cloud's damage weapons, and Cloud has damage weapons in everything except for Earth at this point. So in terms of his elemental outfits, or in terms of his elemental damage, this is still very, very useful, and having Reprieve plus an extra 15% HP is very, very good. So if you don't have any Arcanums for Cloud, this is a great one to pick up. Very, very generic. It's one you can just set and forget, because it'll just work on every single one of Cloud's builds. Excellent. Excellent. Nothing to complain about there. It's great. That's a great start. Alrighty. Now we're going to talk about Sephiroth. All right, so our very first Sephiroth original. So we've got, what is it called? Corruptor of the Planet. So we've got Corruptor of the Planet. Obviously, this is it just a recolor of his basic outfit? It kind of looks like it, right? I do like the color scheme though, for what it's worth. I think the color scheme's cool. Right, but it's red this time. So obviously for a recolor, I like it for what it's worth. I like it. It is just a recolor of Sephiroth's outfit, but it looks good for a recolor, so I'm not mad at it. The sword looks dope, right? I like the way the sword looks. That's cool too. And obviously you got this flowing hair. Man, they put a lot of effort into this. They put a lot of effort into this. Let's jump in. We got the Kikuichimonji. Nailed it. All right, we've got 600 magic non-elemental damage to all enemies. Applies physical damage bonus. So this is the damage bonus. So this is the one that does the extra damage effect. So applies physical damage bonus when using a physical ability to deal bonus damage equal to 20% of the damage dealt. Okay. So that means Cloud's weapon just increases his damage by 25%. That's crazy. That's really good. But this is wild too, because this is all allies. This is all allies. So everybody gets that additional damage? This is wildly good. This is wildly good. Because it does physical and magic both. And he gets a haste on the first cast. Yeah, go for it, Baku. I'm always interested in checking out the deck list, for sure. Yeah, feel free. This is really good. Yeah, this is really good. So that's at OB0. Let's see what happens when we get up to OB6. OB6, we go to 1080 magical non-elemental damage in an area of effect. That's actually really high for an area of effect spell. 25%, so it goes up 5%, so it's 25% instead of 20. Duration goes up, haste goes up. That's all pretty normal. OB10 goes up to 30. Okay, so that's actually not that much of an increase, which is dope. That's a huge number, by the way, for magic attack. 732 is massive. That's a huge number for magic attack. Yeah, materia slots are good. Mixed R ability, so this makes this a really great offhand weapon for Sephiroth. This is excellent for what it's worth. This is excellent. The reason why this is so good is because even at OB0, this is really useful, right? This 20% damage bonus is really useful even at OB0, which is crazy. That's a huge damage increase for your entire team. That's a massive damage increase for your entire team. And all allies, and it's a duration of 30 seconds at OB0. This is a really good weapon. This is a really good weapon, and this is one that I think you can probably just get one copy of and be happy with, right? Obviously, the more that you overboost this, the better it's going to be, and the 30% damage is huge. But man, this is so good at OB0. It's very rare for us to get a good offhand weapon that is this good at OB0. This is wildly good. Wildly good. This is insanely good, especially for Sephiroth, who only really has, outside of the two featured weapons, really only has one or two, those two weapons, right? So this is going to be his offhand weapon, like all the time. Like all the time. This is just his offhand weapon. You definitely want a copy of this, for sure. 100%. Corruptor of the Planet gets boost attack all allies at 15 points, which is 7% increase. That's really good. That's really good. Because then his attack all allies weapon that he gets at level 120, you're also going to get an additional 15 points in the offhand, which is going to get him up to that 30, which doesn't get him quite there to the 35 points, which is kind of a bummer. But you do get to the 9%, the 25-point break. And if you do get more copies of this at of the actual weapon, and you get it up to a point where you can get to this 35-point break, even better, right? It's only 2% increase. Again, we talked about that before, right? 5%, 2%, those little percentage numbers, they do add up, but 2% is not that big of a deal at the end of the day. So if you can't reach it, not that big of a deal, you'll survive. Wing of the Corruptor gets Omni Arcanum and 15% HP. Tilts me a little bit that it's the other way around for this one for some reason. So same thing as Cloud, right? Omni Arcanum is great. 15% HP is fine. That's cool. Attack all allies is more offensively focused. So instead of reprieve, it's a bit more offensively focused, which with Sephiroth kind of makes sense, right? Sephiroth wants to do damage. I get it. No big deal there. It's really good, right? It's a generic outfit that you can just slap onto Sephiroth and it just works. So yeah, it's good, man. It's good. It's good. There's nothing really bad to say about it. It's good. You know, the 30%, obviously, like I said, with the other outfit, with the Arcanum, they, you know, obviously Arcanums we're seeing up to 50% extra damage now, and 30% is fine. But it's not the maximum that you can receive, so it's not the biggest damage increase, but 30% is perfectly fine. I think this is a great outfit. Great outfit. Both of these are great. Let's check out the Shiranui. So this is his other weapon. There are 2 featured Sephiroth weapons on this banner. This one does 600% magic fire damage to a single target, applies fire damage bonus. When using fire ability, deal bonus damage to 20% of damage dealt all allies. This is separate from, oh my god. So that's why they have the Lucia banner going until the 24th. Because that's gonna stack with fire ability potency on your team. That's completely, this is just extra damage. Yeah, that's really good. And this comes with magic attack all allies and fire potency. This is great. This is great. Again, the bonus damage only goes up 10% at OB10. So getting it to OB6 for the extra 5%, 5% is 5%. 5% is not that big of a deal. What's the big deal about this one, though, is this is actually a DPS weapon, and the one that you probably want to get to OB6 because of the elemental damage, right? You want that elemental damage to be at a decent number, and OB6 is usually the good break. In this case, OB1 is 720%, which isn't bad, but Shell Knuckles that we're getting for free at OB6 clears this by a lot, right? In terms of just the damage it deals. But this also has the caveat that it gives your entire team 20% additional fire damage when using fire damage. So like, even though this is weaker than the Shell Knuckles, it does increase your team's total fire damage. So it's still really, really strong. Yeah, this is really strong. Man, that's tough. That's tough. All right, so before we get into the wish list, let's check out the stamp card. Man, that's unfortunate. I was really hoping the stamp card was going to be better than this. That's really disappointing for Anniversary. That's really disappointing. So you only get, it's the same as the other stamp cards, right? 3 guaranteed 5 stars on the first 6 stamps, and then you have to get to 12 to get the outfit. I imagine you have to go all the way to the 12 on the second stamp to get the other. Yeah, so that's kind of a bummer. That's kind of a bummer. The good news here is that you do have, because there are two sets of weapon slots here, you do get what is it, 1, 2, 5 total? 5 total that you can select, which would guarantee you OB4, if nothing else. So that's good. But OB4 is like, yike. Right, yike. Like you would need to have at least OB6 to justify pulling through 2 full stamp cards. And if you don't get to the OB6 point, getting both stamp cards is pretty tough to do, especially when there's going to be another banner coming out that has 3 outfits on it, right? 3 new outfits are coming on the second banner on the 17th. So let me do it like this. If you're a new player, I would pull for Clouds. Clouds Reprieve is going to help you clear content that can be more difficult, because you can use Reprieve to cheese really strong attacks and then heal back up the damage after you take the really strong attack and finish it off. Sephiroth is more DPS focused and really leans into players that have already been playing the game for a while. And so like if Cloud has like a Fire Arcanum, a Lightning Arcanum, a Wind Arcanum, etc., you don't really need the Omni Arcanum because you have those other Arcanums already. Not to say that it's bad, it's very, very good. But like if you're a new player, I do think that the Reprieve will have longer lasting, what's the word I'm looking for? Longer lasting impact on your account versus the more offensively focused Sephiroth banner. Not to mention, Cloud has a lot more flexibility in his kit because he has more weapons to choose from, and Sephiroth doesn't, right? Sephiroth has 5 weapons, and one of them is not very good. So, pretty easy for me. I would say if you're a new player, you probably pull for Sephiroth. If you're you probably pull for Cloud. If you're a returning player or a veteran player, I would probably pull for Sephiroth. Because Sephiroth doesn't have an outfit right now. This is an Omni Arcanum, so you can just slap this on, and it makes it so that water weapon that he has, which is 1340%, all of a sudden becomes very good. And there's a fire damage weapon that I actually didn't go over. We'll go over that here in a second. But there's a fire damage weapon as well that this Omni Arcanum would boost the damage for as well. So then he becomes likely one of the best fire and water damage dealers in the game. Likely. We'll have to wait and see what his, like, you know, what his support cast can do, because somebody else is going to have to give him exploit weakness, right? And he's going to need some help in that realm. So We'll see. We'll see. But on paper, at least, the percentages are there. So, but yeah, so that's where I'm at. If you are a new player, I'd go for Cloud. If you're a returning player or a veteran, I would probably go for Sephiroth. Both of those Sephiroth weapons are very good. If you made me choose today, like right now, I would probably keep this as the guaranteed 5-star on the first page. So like right here, I'd probably keep this on the first page. And then I think every other weapon, I would probably put his fire weapon. And that's if you're pulling for Cloud or Sephiroth. I don't really care, because I think the fire weapon needs to be OB6, right? I think this needs to be OB6 to really get the effect. Where the fusion sword, you can use Cloud weapon parts to get it to OB0, and it's gonna do just fine, right? Like the fusion sword is gonna be just fine at OB0. This is giving you a 25% boost to your damage and a 25% exploit weakness. This is more than enough, right? This is more than enough. This is gonna increase Cloud's damage by a boatload, right? Just that 25% boost alone. Because remember, this weapon boost is separate from this boost that increases your physical damage abilities that you're doing to the opponent. So not only is Cloud doing 25% more damage, but then while he's doing 25% more damage, he's also getting an extra 20% of that damage dealt again to the opponent, which is wild. This is gonna make some of the older content almost trivial, right? Like, this might help people brute force through EX fights. This might help people brute force through battle tower fights. Like, this is a huge power creep. Huge power creep. Which is why I'm so concerned that the next banner is going to be even more. Because Tifa's in that banner, and now I'm scared. Right, yeah, because max damage challenge is another thing, right? This is going to completely rechange the max damage challenge, for sure. So that's where I'm at. I think that's where I'd want it. I want at least one copy of 5-star, a copy of the Sephiroth weapon, and then every other stamp here, I would just put as the fire weapon. I think that's the easiest way to do it, because if you're gonna go through both stamp cards, you're gonna want the fire weapon at OB6 anyways. I think personally, I really want the Cloud outfit though. This is tough for me. I might end up pulling both stamp cards, which I'm not excited about. I'm not excited about. I wish the stamp cards were better than this, man. It's anniversary, you know? Like, come on. That's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So that's the stamp card. That's all of the outfits. The last thing I want to check before we go into the wish list is I want to check out Cloud's ultimate weapon. Let's go to Mako Gem Exchange. We've got Cloud, and we've got the new ultimate weapon, Ragnarok. So Ragnarok deals 2,000 physical non-elemental damage, physical magic non-elemental damage. Also applies amp physical abilities to just self. So an extra 40% damage to just himself for either physical and magic, plus 3 ATB for all allies. And that's it. Okay, so overall, this is okay. A 40% extra boost to his damage when he can increase the amount of damage he's dealing. Those numbers are starting to get higher, right? They're starting to get really high. So when you're trying to get like really big one hits or like single hits, you're gonna get there with Cloud with those type of builds. But there's not a lot in this game that really wants the big single hit, right? Like, it's usually a hit over time. So like, that extra damage is still good. So single use, it's fine, right? It's fine. Do I think it's that great? No, I don't. I'll be honest with you, I don't. I think it's about the same as Lucia's. Being able to give 3 ATB to all your allies is really good. So that's something that's positive. And obviously having extra damage is fine. I think this is just, it's fine, right? It's good. It's good, right? It's good. I don't think this is something that's crazy. So it's gonna come down to, we got boost ability potency, which is mixed ability potency, which is fine. Attack boost to all allies. Now, see, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Now, that's different. Now we're talking. So this is the reason why you want it. So physical and magic attack are increased when the battle begins high. So all allies. So you get +3 to both physical and magic attack, all allies, for 40 seconds at the beginning of the fight. That's crazy. That's really good, because that allows you to immediately start DPSing in the fight, right? You don't have to worry about your physical and magic attack increase. All you got to do is worry about exploit weakness, debuffs, go. That's really good. That's really good. The ability itself is fine, right? It's not a bad ability. It still gives him bonus damage. That's still fine. The +3 ATB is good, right? That's just objectively good. But like, it's just okay, right? It's just okay. It's solid. And then the Sephiroth ultimate weapon, which is also available, is Heaven's Cloud, Meteoric Onslaught. So this one has 3 uses, not 2. Deals 2,000 mixed non-elemental damage. Haste applied for 20 seconds. 40% exploit weakness. Ooh. For 60 seconds. This is pretty good. Because again, you can use this 3 times, right? And that means you're getting exploit weakness for 180 seconds without any help. Which is very good, right? And a lot of fights that you're using, like, you're going to be using Sephiroth on, usually are only going to last a couple of minutes, right? So if you're thinking like guild battles and stuff like that, he's only going to be you're only fighting for 2.5 minutes anyways, right? So having 3 minutes of exploit weakness is exactly what you need. So mixed R ability here, mass interruption all allies. Let's see what this does. Amplifies physical abilities and magic abilities to all allies when interrupting an enemy. Oh, and this is one that just stays on because it's not next. Or is it? No, it just applies. No, so that'll just be 1 again, right? Because that's what that effect does. This is just the 1. So you'll get 1 big burst attack against the Sigilbrook character. That's good, right? It's good when you need it, right? The interruption one. To be honest, the real reason you want this is for the exploit weakness. That's what you really want it for. Because having Sephiroth with exploit weakness on is great, right? And it's 40% too, which is awesome. But if you've got Aerith's exploit weakness weapon, if you got the rocker guitar at a decent overboost, you really don't need this. Which is I think that's the first time I've said that about an ultimate weapon. Don't hear what I'm not saying. This is still good, right? This is a good weapon. They're both good weapons. But like this is just, it's okay. It's all right. It's good, right? Exploit weakness is good. This is good when you can use it, and otherwise it's just all right. Go to medals. We go to ultimate medals. He gets the ultimate Masamune. Adobe 10, you get a 1 charge, so this is only 1 use. 1,000 damage, magic defense high, magic attack increase high, with physical defense and boost ability potency. Yeah, that's not bad, right? For a free one, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Yeah, we'll take that. That's fine. Magic defense down, magic attack up. That's good enough for me, man. That's good. It's good enough. Yeah, his obviously, unsurprisingly, right? The gacha weapon's better when it comes to the ultimate weapon. That's still a solid one though. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, so we went through everything. That's the whole banner. In terms of the wish list, if you're prioritizing Cloud and you're looking to get Cloud's outfit, the easiest thing for me to say is to include all of his elemental weapons that you would put into your main hand. This includes the recently released Full Throttle, which is probably one of the better options that he has, which is very, very good. Holiday Blade, we just got to OB6 for free. So if you don't have this at OB10, this is another great option to get up to OB10 because this is one of the best wind weapons in the game. So nothing wrong with the Holiday Blade. Sky Splitter is where the damage starts to come down a little bit. It only does 850%, which compared to some of the other numbers we see in the game, it's not that great. Still, Cloud doesn't have a lot of great options in elemental weapons right now. I hate the feeling that's probably going to continue to change, but still a great option. Make sure you put that on there as well. And then I think that's probably where I stop for Cloud. If you're interested in getting his Maritime Sword, which is a 750% water weapon, you can. If you're interested in getting the Murasame weapon, which is a 750% lightning potency weapon, you can. Those 2 weapons will still clear content that are weak to lightning and water weapon or water damage, right? Especially with the extra 30% boost that he's going to get with his Omni Arcanum, they're both fine. But the reality is that what we're seeing in the meta, but in the game right now, is that the elemental percentages are usually floating between like 1,000 and 1,120, right? Sephiroth, we're seeing like 1,300 now, so we'll see if that's the new like norm or the thing to expect with elemental weapons. But that's a huge difference between 750 and 1128, right? That's almost a 400% damage difference, and you will notice. I promise you with my whole chest, you will notice the damage difference. However, Cloud's new weapon enables him to do more damage, and that does kind of make up for the fact that his weapons are a little bit weaker. So, food for thought. You can put them on there if you'd like. You can put all 5 elemental weapons on there if you'd like. He does not have an earth elemental weapon at this point. I get the feeling that will probably change with his Omni Arcanum, but you know, time will tell with that, right? If you are pulling for Sephiroth specifically, I would include the featured weapons that you want to pull for. So for example, Masamune, you do need to get this to OB10, so if you're interested in trying to get that up there now, this is probably one of the best times to do it. Osafune has to be on your wish list 100%, right? 100%, this weapon has to be on your wish list. It is far too good, far too powerful, and far too useful for Sephiroth to not include it on his wish list. You have to have this on your wish list 100%. 100%. For everything else, I think you would be prioritizing his fire weapon. So you're looking for fire sub-weapons in magic specifically. And so if you're looking for specifically magic fire sub-weapons, you're looking at things like Rose Musket, which gives magic ability potency and fire potency, both great R abilities, very, very helpful. You're looking at things like Tifa's Shell Knuckles are kind of okay. These are not great for a sub-weapon slot though, so I probably wouldn't include that. Barrett's Flame Projector is one that does magic attack and fire potency, and this one's 46 and 42, which is pretty okay. Zack has an attack weapon called the Crystal Sword, which I will find here. Called the Crystal Sword Z, which does attack and fire potency as well. So this is a decent sub-weapon as well, but the magic attack is pretty low on this one. So you want to brand this to have magic attack so it's a little bit more useful for your Sephiroth build. And then in terms of magic fire, a lot of the magic fire weapons have been limited. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So that's basically it. You'll have a couple of different HP options as well. So after that, you're looking at things like magic ability potency. So stuff like Electro Cannon for Barrett. Though keep in mind, when you're pulling for weapons like Barrett's Electro Cannon, keep in mind that we're getting an OB6 version of Electro Cannon for Barrett with the login bonus. So if that's something that affects if you can pull for this or not, make sure that you understand that before you put it on your wish list, so you're not wasting resources on your wish list, right? But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much what the wish list is going to be.